Good morning. I'm so happy to see you today. I'm so happy to see you today on the most important day of our lives. Happy to be here with you in the most important moment of our lives. Let's ring the bell. Let's take a nice breath in and a nice easy sigh. Just take a moment to experience that. So I'm very, very happy to be with you. It's a thrill for me to be able to have the opportunity to come and speak with you today. I'm also really happy to share and shine my strength into the world, and as a result to have the world shine strength back into my own heart. So we want to understand that when we share with each other, when we are with people who are in our community, that we become stronger. We are stronger together than we are separately. Once I was driving along and I saw a tree growing out of a gutter, and it was quite large. It was kind of amazing that it had gotten as big as it had. So I was amazed by that, but it was clear that it wasn't going to grow much longer. It was clear that it didn't have much more time, even though it had done something amazing. This tree was not able to dig its roots down any further. It was impossible. And so as a result, it was not going to flourish. What I'm suggesting is that you have to come from your roots. You have to come and draw nutrition deep. And this is a time to dig your roots deeply in. So you need those deeply grown roots for two powerful reasons. One is that you need it to create stability. You need to be grounded in order to create stability. And you also need to be able to draw nutrition. And that nutrition and those roots are always in the present. That is where you will draw in the energy. Essentially, what it comes down to is we are solar creatures. And light is always in the present. It's never in the past or the future. Light is always present right now. And that is what we are here to draw from, the full spectrum of light. The light beyond that which we are aware of. We are creatures of light, and we have to understand that. And as a creature of light, what that means is that you're meant to draw light in and shine it back out. You can't block the world from your light. When you block the world from your light, it's like the sun deciding not to shine on someone. Is there anyone in the world who has ever lived that the sun refused to shine on? That's the way we have to be. It doesn't have to mean that we have to like everyone, and it doesn't mean that we have to agree with everyone. In fact, what it does mean is we allow them the space to exist. We allow them to be who they are. We have this idea that others cannot be who they are if it infringes, in some sense, on who we feel we are. And that's just not the case. You can be authentically yourself without inhibiting anyone else from doing the same. You can thrive without taking thriving away from anyone else. That is the beauty of this life. It was designed for you to thrive. And that's what it is here for you to do. So make no mistake about it. It is asking something of you. So the question is, are you going to give what it's asking? Are you constantly insisting that you focus on what you're receiving, or are you focusing on what you are giving? I'm not talking about codependence. I'm talking about true responsiveness. It's the key to a great actor is to truly be able to listen. And what does listening truly mean? It means truly being present. So let's do it. Let's make it happen. So in the course of these 6 weeks, we are going to gradually build our practice. The intention is that no matter where you are, no matter how isolated you are, you can work and build the foundation of a great meditation, stress reduction practice that has grounding and positive manifestation. And it's also important to know that it's not something you're trying to force yourself to do. This is something you were born to do. This is something you were born to do. You were born to be you. And the romance of being you is not to be reactive. Okay? Yes, we find the listening and it calls us out, but it's not reactivity. It's calling from the center of your heart to shine out. So again, there's so many things. We live in such a benevolent universe, and it's key. I forget exactly the quote, but Einstein said something to the effect that the essential choice is whether you live in a benevolent or a malevolent universe. What about you? What about you? Do you live in a benevolent universe or a malevolent one? Do you live in a universe that's looking to serve you or looking to destroy you? I would suggest that you live in a universe that is looking to support you all the time. And even in change, that change is a stepping into a fuller flowering of being you. So we can't be ourselves by being who we used to be. We have to listen to it now. Who you are is a revelation. It's going to continue to unfold in every moment of your life. It's a combination of knowing yourself well and instantly and constantly being surprised. So from my perspective, in learning how to truly be present, we learn that life is instantaneous. It all happens at once. I've had the great opportunity, and one of the things I have done in my work is to sit with people as they are going through their process of moving out of this world, passing on from this world. My root teacher said that when he was asked about his son dying and a close friend of his dying, he said that when someone was born into the world, he had a joy, but it was mixed with a sadness. Okay? And he said when someone passed out of the world, there was sadness, but was really immersed in joy because he understood they were graduating from this place. So, it's something that we want to swim into, not resist, because you can't resist it. Don't be the person who has the police call on you to get you to leave the party. If you leave the party gracefully, people love you, give you hugs and kisses, and it's a wonderful goodbye, although it is still sad. So we understand that joy is not the pursuit of happiness. It is the pursuit of deep meaning. The great writer Viktor Frankl in Man's Search for Meaning was talking about that in terms of how people were able to make it through the Holocaust, being in these concentration camps. What was the difference between those who were able to get through it and those who were not? The difference that was with the ones who were able to get through it had a sense of deep meaning, that this was not for some futile purpose, and it was not about just trying to fulfill the pleasures of their own desire. It was about giving to something beyond themselves. It's about shining into the world. So we're going to continue to build for the 40 days. Now the first week is almost just a week of observation. I'm not saying just to lay in bed all week, although a lot of us have been laying around a lot more. I have to tell you that my fitness level has certainly changed. But what I am talking about is, doing healthy patterns, but just kind of tracking the patterns you do. Not just sort of doing it willy-nilly, but having a real sense of those healthy patterns that you are working with. So we talked about having the state changers, writing a list of 10 elements that really work to calm you down. It's about having access to that list and actually doing those things, but it's also about the process of observation. We have to observe ourselves fully to be able to be who we need to be. We have to observe ourselves fully in order for it to have it emerged and to have it be revealed to us. So we have to sit back, and sitting back is about understanding what is it that you do right now that you know how to do that really works for you. This whole process is about a process for you specifically. It's not about everyone else. Even if you had an identical twin, you would not be able to wear the same shoes, and you wouldn't have the same scars on your body. You wouldn't be able to have exactly the same medical treatments. Your meditation and grounding practice, your manifestation practice, and your spiritual practice is about specifically you. Now, the beauty of it is is that as you become more and more specifically you, you actually become more and more all of us. It is the experience of kindness, family, kin. We are family. So just sit with it. Now, I want to bring this up because you are the chef and you are making a wonderful meal. You're making it for yourself, but you're making it for the entire world. So as we go along here, and I'm not going to hold back, I'm going to give you all that I can give, and as a result, I know that I will receive. I will receive strength from you. So, we will talk about lots of different techniques during those times. Now, because we don't get together for a full breath of an hour and are not together physically together an hour every week, it's hard to get as much out. It's hard to get them out in these little snippets. So please, when you are doing these sessions, sit down with me and have a pad with you. And when you hear something that resonates, jot it down. It's like having a recipe book. Don't a lot of us have those old recipe books from our grandmother or our great-grandmother? Maybe they are on yellowed pages. So we can go back and we can repeat, menus that they did. And we can make, grandma's great apple pie. Of course, it never tastes quite the same because there's an energetic element as well. But you can make it taste good yourself by bringing your authenticity to it. So, for me, I'm eclectic. I am not bound. I am not bound. I am in the midst of freedom. I'm in the land of the free. And I'm not talking necessarily about America. I'm talking about the land of the free is just being alive. So I don't feel bound by tradition. I am not looking for someone else to be my guru. And I'm not asking you to have me be your guru. In fact, I'm very not into that. I'm not into the whole guru thing, although I have learned tremendous things from gurus, been brought along by major gurus. And in fact, some of my great teachers are considered to be gurus. But what I am offering is the idea that we heard that Jesus talked about is to be a light unto oneself. Now, to be a light unto oneself it does not mean you doing what you want to do. It means opening yourself up to the moment so that you are so fully present that the flow comes through you and you are shining it out into the world. It doesn't start here. It starts from here and then comes out. Right? So it's about stepping into that moment where you are so open to the flow that it begins to inform you. It begins to inform you and transform you. And instead of trying to resist it, we swim into it. One of the things that I often will do in my yoga classes is I will at some point in the conversation compare my body to the statue of David. The statue of David in its perfection. I'm 56 years old, and almost every time I do it, I have someone in the class. They don't just giggle; they guffaw. I'll say, that my body is as beautiful as the statue of David, and all of a sudden someone will go, and I'll be like, it's perfect. It's a moment of great comedy. It's a moment of great comedy, but I mean it. My body is perfect, and so is yours. And and I'm not just talking about your physical body. I'm talking about your real body, who you really are. It's imperfection. It's beautiful. So let's be aware of that. Let's be aware of that. We're going to have to pick up all of these different elements. We're going to have to pick up framing, reframing. Frame things so that you feel like you're winning. Frame things so that you know that you're winning. I'm not talking about lying to yourself. I'm not talking about trying to force everyone to do what you want. I am talking about recognizing that you are perfectly placed. Life is the perfect teacher and the perfect comedian. It knows exactly the jokes that fit your sense of humor and exactly the situation to put you in to challenge you. But it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. Life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. Again, it comes back to that quote from Einstein, to the effect of choosing whether you are in a malevolent or a benevolent universe. Is life happening for you or to you? It doesn't matter what it is. I'm not suggesting that there are not horrible things happen, that there are not these horrible deaths occurring and the incredible impacts that it's having on people, and that it's not incredibly debilitating to have someone take their own life. I spent almost 20 years working in a locked mental health unit. Having someone take their life, and I've had loved ones I've known who have taken their lives. Having someone take their life is so impactful to those around them. It's a shifting that shifts their pain to the pain around them. So it's not about judging the person, but it's about understanding that we have to approach this in a different way. We can't do that. We can't give up. When it's time to leave this party, you won't have to choose it. It will happen of its own. And it's not about being somewhere that you don't want to be, because you do want to be here. You want to be there for your children. You want to be there for the people you love. And the best way you can do that is to show up yourself. So for me, during this 40-day practice, it's primarily not about trying to work and get things done with you guys. It's primarily about me recommitting to it my own self, to recommit to doing the work that allows me the freedom. And when I'm talking about freedom, I'm talking about the freedom of not being on a string to someone else. I'm talking about not being on a string to anybody else. Not being on a string to the whole wide world. If the whole wide world is pulling the string at the same time, in a sense, that's what's happening. If the whole wide world is pulling that string at the same time, you have to have the freedom to still go your own way, to move towards your own particular North Star, towards your authenticity, towards your deepest values, towards your heart. So, I want to again touch base on the 40 days. It's a progressive and gentle progression. It's a progressive and gentle progression. So the first week is kindness. Just get a picture. Write down what it is that you're doing. And make sure you get that list of 10 state changers. Walking, playing music, exercise, singing. Singing is very, very important. We have very few things that the ancient Spartans, brought us to us. And one is the legend of their incredible self-discipline. But another is singing. The ancient Spartans said that singing was one of the best ways to handle fear. So it's important that you sing. I have so many things I want to share with you, and they just all seem to want to come on at once. So it's important to gradually build your practice week by week, and so that you peak at the end. It's important to have a roadmap for this area that you're going on to. So the first week is just kind of getting a sense of it, sort of forming it, really sort of paying attention to yourself. What works for you? What do you know that works for you? Having that list of 10 state changers. And when you feel that negative state emerge, when you feel yourself sucked into that negative bubble, as soon as possible, activate your state changers and work down the list. A great state changer is taking a cold shower. Yeah, and if it's okay for you within your own particular health issues, if the reason that you aren't willing to take a cold shower is you still want to do it, which is fine. But I am suggesting is having the strength of commitment that makes you willing to do what is necessary to shift your complete and utter transfixion, samsara, movement that you can't take your eyes off of. If you want to be able to rip your eyes off of this, you have to have elements that can shift you. So a nice cold shower will do that. Taking an ice cold shower, bathing the entire body, and then coming out. A nice cold shower has unbelievable ability to shift you. So, and then if you do those elements consistently, it begins to change. And if you are doing multiple shifting elements on a daily basis, none of them being that big, you will change. Change is much easier than you would think. This is easy. not hard to do. You just have to really intend it. And the intent is the first step. You know, like when you're buying a Christmas present or a present for the holidays, and maybe you go on some site and you find the perfect gift and you hit that return button, and now you know it's coming. You're not worried about buying the gift anymore. You know it, and so you can draw on the well-being of knowing that you are taking care of what needs to be done. It's not about making these huge changes. And in fact, huge changes end up collapsing in on us. It's about changing very, very slowly and gently, but making sure that we keep moving towards the goal. You are more stable when you are on mission, right? And if you're swimming across the lake, and swimming across the lake, the mission is to get to a particular spot. When you're swimming, don't you look up on a regular basis? Do you just keep your head down and just go? No, you don't. You would never do that. You would never do that. And if someone suggested you do that, you would think it would be ridiculous. Remember that an irrational person doesn't know that they are irrational. An irrational person doesn't know that they are irrational. And if you think that they should know they are irrational, that means you are irrational. So if you expect another irrational person to change, why shouldn't it be you first? Right? Don't assume that the most irrational person in the room isn't you, because it very well might be. It might be me. So that's why I deal in terms of perception. Don't get me wrong. I'm fully committed to the experience of flow that I'm gifted with. But I could be wrong. Me having the ability to recognize what I am involved in is perception allows you to have your own opinion. I'm just endlessly fascinated by when I go online and I see the things that people say to each other. I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. At first, I was shocked, but now it's different. It's not the same shock. It's sadness. But remember, life is happening for you. And in your particular life, you are living the essential story in your life. And so that means you have to understand that this is a teaching story, and you better get the point of the lesson. What's the point? You know, is it as John Lennon said, surely we're not here to live in pain and fear? Or is the lesson that pain and fear is what it's about, and what you are here to do is to get others before they get you? That's not my world. That's not my world. No, I live in a world of oneness. So if you really want to make things change, you have to allow yourself to change. And you have to take on the commitment to become your best self. And that's the gift of this time. It is calling on you to be your best self. You know, there are few things as unpleasant as a petulant elderly person. Completely petulant. That is so hard to deal with. And there is nothing more beautiful than an elderly person who's in the beauty of their grace and their sense of flow and the desire to be of service, the wisdom that just shines from them. You know, I've been with people even in their deathbed who are just luminescently beautiful. And that's who we are. So again, coming back to the 40 days, build it gradually and peak at the end. So in the process of us getting together, we'll continue to talk about shaming, or not shaming, that's not what we're talking about. We'll completely talk about framing the 40-day practice and making sure that we have a good roadmap, making sure that we have a roadmap, or maybe you say a GPS, that informs us, that acts as an exoskeleton, right? So that this whole process, what it does is it begins to help you to stay up, help you to stand up. One of the things that I talk to people about is what I call existential fatigue and existential exhaustion. existential fatigue is when you have been disappointed. It goes all the way back to childhood. And when you've been disappointed again and again and again, and many times by yourself. So existential exhaustion is when, with fatigue, we just keep muscling through. Life sucks, but we just keep doing it. Existential exhaustion is when you collapse and you just can't do it anymore. You end up in the hospital for some element. Could be physical breakdown, could be a mental or emotional breakdown. So we have to understand that we will be exhausted if we are not present. If you're not present, if you're just all the time on the elements that are what's going on in the world, get up, what's going on, you are going to drain your batteries. You're going to tap your adrenals. Your nervous energy is going to rise. Okay? And that nervous energy, as it rises, will end up expressing itself in irritability, in anger and hatred. So we're working to de-escalate. And one of the elements that we'll go over in this 6 weeks is developing a de-escalation process, a de-escalation template. But the most important aspect of de-escalation is always de-escalating yourself. So we understand that the de-escalation of ourself is the ability to not be trapped in tunnel vision. If you can't take your eyes off of something, you are enslaved. So the ability to be aware of the subtle in the midst of the intense is called self-mastery. And that's what we will train to do. We'll keep going on about different elements of the 40 days. And then in the course of these sessions, I will also, at some point, often take us through a practice right there in real time. We will touch base on many, many practices. So write them down. And really hit that return button. There's a gift that's coming to you. Understand it. Understanding that will give you confidence beyond your current abilities. Understanding that will give you calm beyond your current level of being calm. So now, this mission, should you choose to accept it, I'll go about things in different ways. But this mission, should you choose to accept it, you don't have to accept it. But I would ask you, at least until we meet again, to know what that mission was. Right? So this mission, should you choose to accept it, is to go for a walk. If that feels okay for you, go for a walk. In this walk, make it a half an hour walk, 15 minutes away and 15 minutes back. And in the walk, I'm asking you to walk vigorously, not a stroll. Now, it doesn't mean that you might not take other walks, but this is a specific practice. Walk and make sure you have a good arm swing. We are creatures of rhythm, and the rhythm of the arm swing is soothing to the brain. So what this is a non-linear de-escalation of you. And so what this will do is it will lower your nervous energy. In the process of all these different elements that we cobble together, what ends up happening is that we begin to understand that there's a flame within us, like a candle that burns, that does not flicker in the wind. There's a calm deep within us that is not on a string to what everyone else will do. If you are on a string to what everyone else will do, if you are depending on some other human being or humanity as a whole to get its act worked out, you're going to be waiting a long time. But if you wait or if you step into it yourself, you're going to find that you can change the world. You can have an impact that changes everything. When I was in third grade, and I moved to a community that was very, very not into having us there, there was a person there who reached out to me. She was I lived in a predominantly Catholic community. At that time, it was all Irish Catholic Americans, except for at that time, there was me, one other African-American boy that I knew. In my school, I was the only African-American boy, and one young woman who was also African-American. And so I was being assaulted on a daily basis, assaulted in multiple ways regularly, physically, verbally. It blasted my consciousness. I also was in a situation where there was a very, very much a lack of safety in other areas of my life as well. So what I'm suggesting is what happened for me is that when she reached out to me, she sent her son out to get me, and I thought he was going to do something to me, but he finally talked me into coming to his house, which, you know, that was really, I don't know if that was really the best thing in general, but in this case it was the best thing, because he brought me to his mother, and his mother told me that she sent him to me because she saw what I was going through. She wanted to support me. She told me that you can come here anytime. You are safe here. And it was crucial for me. And for the next 4 or 5 years of my life, that was really the only place I felt safe in the world. This woman clearly was depressed. She was a single mother. She had 7 kids. Father had left. So I'm here at 56 telling you the story about me in 3rd grade and the impact that this person has. That's your power. So we're looking to understand that we have to develop faith. We have to have faith in each other. And that means the Sangha, we develop faith in ourselves. I'm not talking about hero worship. I'm not into the guru devotion. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am into having great teachers and studying from them. But it's not about coming from outside in. Sufis say, there's an old Sufi saying that God is closer to you than your jugular vein. So it's about shining from inside out. It's about developing the ability to have access to resilience. So many of the things that we will deal with, resilience, as an example, we are working to develop resilience. You have more resilience if you are on mission. You have more resilience if you have a positive mission. You have more resilience if you understand what it means to be resilient. If I were to ask you about the word resilience, what does it mean? You would probably say something positive. That was a positive thing. Actually, resilience is actually a neutral word. You can be resiliently neutral, just that you just keep popping back to it. You can have a resilient relationship to drug addiction. But we're talking about in the positive frame of the word and what the word actually means. To be resilient meant to, the word resilience, to do again, resilience meant to be aware of excellence that other people miss. That is essentially what resilience means. To have the ability to notice excellence that others will miss. This is called the relationship to subtlety. So when we open up our awareness, we end up in resilience. So again, the mission today is to go for a walk. The walk is a nice arm swing walk with pace. And while you're doing it, visualize good things. This is bringing in the manifestation part of the practice. Visualize people you love doing well. Visualize yourself doing well. Visualize people in the neighborhood smiling and shining, and walk, and you will find that it helps you access resilience. So I want to talk about one more element today. I think I'd like to take us through a very, very brief practice today. So, again, to me, it's really important in developing a spiritual practice that you have certain guide rails. This is not about developing some sort of power. In Hinduism, they used to have what was called the siddhis. The siddhis were powers. So you might be working to do practice to develop the ability to manipulate others, or even to have really magical powers to be able to try to read people's minds. Those are not elements that I'm into at all. I'm not saying they do or don't exist. But what I'm talking about is creating the relationship to practice that continually brings us to calming, right? This is what we're committed. Practice that is about calming. Practices that's about positive manifestation. So this practice today that I want to do with you, and I want to take us through a very brief guided meditation, is called Tonglen. Tonglen. T-O-N-G-L-O-N, I believe. Tonglen. It is a Tibetan Buddhist practice. I had the opportunity to be with some Tibetan Buddhists and one of my teachers, and I really suggest that you recognize who your mountain of teachers are. Not just famous ones, but people you have known. But one of my teachers and one of the greatest teachers in the world who has ever lived is Pema Chodron. Pema Chodron, Chodron. My favorite book of hers is called The Wisdom of No Escape. The Wisdom of No Escape. Now, she has tons of videos online, so get to know her. So I've studied some of her practices around Tonglen. So this idea of Tonglen practice, traditionally, as I understand it, was about breathing. It could be basically one of two ways. It was about breathing in the good and exhaling out the bad, or it was about breathing in the bad and exhaling out the good. So if you were breathing in good and exhaling out bad, and in that sense, you would often visualize like smoke coming out of your mouth as though the toxicity was being released. So that was one element. If you were looking to serve the world in a way, you could breathe in bad, breathing in the world, the negative energy of the world, and purify it and bring it out in a positive energy. So those are two basic ways that I learned to do Tonglen, and I don't do it either one of those ways. What I do is I breathe in the good and I exhale out the good. And I breathe in the good and I exhale out the good. So let's do this brief Tonglen practice. So I'm asking you to write this down and experience it. If you want to, you can come back to this video again and I'll take you through it again within the confines of the video. So wherever you are, sit comfortably. If you're laying down, lay down comfortably. Okay? Breathing nice and easily. You can have your eyes either open or closed if that feels right for you. If you choose to have your eyes open, kind of drop your vision and just let your eyes softly release their focus. Tap into the intention. Intention is powerful. Intention is not a wish or a hope. It's something far beyond that. Tap into the intention that as you exhale, you relax. Breathing slowly and easily. Feel it. This is you accessing your power, breathing nice and easily as you exhale. You release. Continue to breathe and just notice your body is incredible. Notice your amazing body. And let the hands relax. Let the arms just hang in a relaxed way, or if you're laying in the bed, just let the bed receive your weight. Breathing nice and easily. Just notice what happens when you relax. Your body transforms. When you relax, your shoulders release. Feel your jaws relaxing. The jaws always tell us the truth. Be aware of your jaws. Send awareness deep into your jaws. And notice how that when the jaws relax, it changes the whole relationships to the face. Breathing nice and easily. Just be aware. Feel yourself. Feel your actual body, but also notice your imaginary body. Just imagine your body. Breathing nice and easily. Jaws relax. Allow that to have the effect of releasing and relaxing the center of your forehead. Feel the center of your forehead release. Breathing nice and easily. Now, in this relaxed state, begin to draw light in through the center of your forehead. The light that you're drawing in is solar energy. It's the light of the sun. It's yellow light. Breathe in the yellow light of the sun through the forehead and through the crown. Now feel this light shining into you and warming your system, healing your system, healing the imaginary body, healing the pain body. Breathing nice and easy. The light is shifting you, warming you, healing you, helping you to become resilient, helping you to be shining with hope. And let that resiliency, that light shine right out of your heart. Now, there are two hearts. There is the energetic heart, the timekeeper. The physical heart, which is the timekeeper, the beating heart. And the energetic heart, which is right next to it, is the twin of the physical heart. So the physical heart is just slightly off to the center, and the energetic heart is right in the center of your chest. Now just imagine a star shining out from the center of your chest outward. Now this is a white star. Now the yellow light is coming through your system, and in it, it comes out as a shining white light. Now shine light out into the world. Shine light into your home. If you live with anyone, just take a moment, breathing nice and easily, and surround them in your imagination with yellow shining light. Feel their face softening, shining, their eyes shining, and their whole face beginning to feel an obvious sense of relief and an obvious connection to joy. Now let's do it with someone else. Maybe you have children, breathing nice and easily. Maybe they don't live with you. Shine your light on your children, breathing in the yellow light from the forehead and through the top of the head, and shining white light, imagining it shimmering around your children, any one of your children or all of them. Maybe you could do it all together. Know that in this, that as this light surrounds them and protects them, this light is a shield. Feel them getting better. Now I would ask you to be aware of anyone that you know who's deeply in health issues. Breathing in the yellow light and shining out the white light surround them. And know that they are safe, that they are truly not at risk. Surround and see them shifting. Even if they are close to passing, they can come to fruition and to thriving. Surrounding them with yellow light. Breathing nice and easily. Now, let's do this now. Let's do this for the whole wide world. Breathing in the yellow light and shining out white, and see the whole wide world shimmering with white light surrounding it. Releasing it, easing its pain. Breathing nice and easily. Take a nice breath in. And an easy sigh. Eyes opening. Now, the moment after a practice is actually the most important point in a practice. So just be aware of the afterglow of that practice. You are different. So one last thing today before I let you get on with your magnificent day. I'm going to ask you to point to yourself. Point to yourself right now. I'm going to point to myself. Almost everyone all over the world, if you ask them to point to themselves, they'll do this. There are all kinds of subtle expressions that are leading us, and this is one. You are not going to point here. Point to yourself. You're not going to do that. So what I'm suggesting is that the energetic heart is in many ways the seat of your entire being. The energetic heart is infinite. It is an infinite well of unconditional love. It doesn't matter how many children you have. You can love them. So shine from your heart today. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is the second day of our 40-day practice. I will have a blog post up as close to 6 o'clock as I can. Now, this process is going to improve. Now, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm simply looking for improvement. You are doing so much. Be aware of that. And what we are doing is connecting with our expansiveness. It doesn't matter what you have going on. If you put it right in front of your face, you're not going to be very effective at getting around. When you realize how expansive you are, when you realize how much space you have, you can still have that challenge. Understand that stress is not having enough space or having too much space. If you have something too close, that's stressful. But when you realize your expansiveness, how big you are, when you realize that it's not a question of having too much space, but it's not feeling like separate from too much space, but recognizing you are the space. So thank you so much. Thank you for what you're doing. You're doing something to help the world. I'm going to ring the bell. Listen carefully. Remember that the person who yells the loudest and insists that you do what they think should be done is not necessarily, and actually is almost invariably, not the right person to lead you. The right person to lead you is the one who is calm and who is in real communion with what's happening. The emotions that scream out to you, the emotions that make you want to attack, are not the emotions that are working for your good. Be aware of that. Your power is in subtlety. Namaste. The light within me shines and connects to the light within you. Enjoy your day.